Hello, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of DDN Sports Central. Goals is always the beauty of the game. On today's edition is not the news segment. It promises to be another exciting, entertaining, and revealing time on the show. Did you know that a couple of goals have been scored within seconds of the start of a game in the history of the UEFA Champions League? Now, on today's edition, as the Champions League winds down, as we're getting to the second leg of the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League, we will be bringing you the top 5 fastest goals in the history of the UEFA Champions League, or the Champions League as it was called at some point. So stay tuned. DDM Sports Central. We'll be right back. Do not go away anywhere. Do not move a muscle. Welcome back. Marcus Thuram scored the fastest goal in this season's UEFA Champions League with a 30-second opener in the first leg semi-final game against Barcelona at Camp Nou. He scored for Inter Milan. It was his 4th goal of this season's UEFA Champions League, and that was the fastest goal, right? Scratch that. I know many football followers like me would have thought that was the fastest goal in the history of the UEFA Champions League, but no, it wasn't. Now, here are some of the fastest goals in the history of the UEFA Champions League. Number 1, Roy Mackay for Bayern Munich in 2007. In the game between Bayern Munich and Real Madrid at the Allianz Arena, Roy Mackay scored in just 10.12 seconds, making it the fastest goal in the UEFA Champions League history. It was a round of 16 game, and the goal helped Bayern Munich overturn a 2-3 deficit from the first leg to advance on away goals rule. I really never liked the away goals rule when it was used. Thank God it has been removed. Number 2, Jonas Oliveira for Valencia in the 2011-2012 season. Jonas Goncalves Oliveira scored in 10.96 seconds in the game between Valencia and Bayer Leverkusen. Jonas scored in the group phase of the UEFA Champions League. It happened in a Group E game of the 2011-2012 season, where Valencia defeated Bayer Leverkusen 3-1. Jonas' remarkable goal came within 10.96 seconds, like I said earlier, making it the second fastest goal in the UEFA Champions League history. The swift strike set Valencia on the way to a crucial win, showcasing Jonas' exceptional speed and skill on the field of play. Number 3, Gilberto Silva for Arsenal in the 2002-2003 season. In the game between Arsenal and PSV Eindhoven, that was the group stage game of the UEFA Champions League. At the time, it was notable for, being the fastest goal in the Champions League history. The match took place at the PSV Stadion, and Arsenal went on to win that game 4-0. Silva's volley from Thierry Henry's cross set the record, which he still cherishes despite it being beaten since then. Number 4 is Alessandro Del Piero of Juve. In the 1996-97 season, Del Piero scored in 20.12 seconds in that season's quarterfinal match between Manchester United and Juve. This quick goal showcased Del Piero's exceptional speed and skill on the field. The match was won by Juve and was played at Old Trafford. And then number 5, Clarence Seedorf of AC Milan. Remember the guy with these goggles? In the 2005-2006 season, Seedorf scored in just 25 seconds for AC Milan in the Champions League group stage. The match took place at the Arena of Schalke in Gelsenkirchen, Germany. The goal gave Milan an early lead. Unfortunately, Schalke 04 equalized, and the match ultimately ended 2-2. This goal showcased Seedorf's exceptional speed and skill on the field. Now, those are the top 5 fastest goals of the in the UEFA Champions League history, right from when it was even called the Champions League. Now, I want to end this edition by, sharing with us what I will call my own most questionable call by a referee in the UEFA Champions League. There may have been, many questionable calls by referees in this season's UEFA Champions League, but what I would take as my standouts or top of my list will be the disallowed penalty in the penalty shootout between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid at the Metropolitano Stadium. How many of us remember that game, that penalty shootout? Alvarez was going to take his own shot. The World Cup winning Argentine player, Julian Alvarez, he had his penalty goal disallowed to the dismay of coach Diego Simeone and fans of Atletico Madrid, including yours truly. The funny thing was that the kick had been counted as a goal, and Fede Valverde was coming forward to take his kick for Real Madrid, only for there to be a recall by VAR suggesting that Alvarez had touched the ball twice before kicking the ball with his standing foot, making contact with the ball before he struck it in with his right foot. Although Thibaut Courtois claimed he had alerted the referees of a possible double contact before the ball went in. But then Diego Simeone, the coach of Atletico Madrid, wondered when there had ever been a recall by VAR for a penalty kick in such circumstance. Simeone was quoted to have said, "We have never seen the VAR call to review a penalty in a shootout. Never. Did you see him touching the ball twice? Please, whoever was present in the stadium and saw him touching the ball twice, the ball moving, please come forward and raise your hand." Am I going to be one of those who will come forward and raise his hand? Because I'm not sure I saw him. But anyway, VAR is a machine. And, the VAR officials were able to judge it that he made contact with the ball twice. But that was a very, very painful way of losing out in the UEFA Champions League because it was like the third time they were losing to Real Madrid in painful circumstances, for that matter. There was this edition where they were actually leading only for Real Madrid to equalize and, push the game into extra time. And then Atletico Madrid felt like a pack of cards and Real Madrid just beat them silly. I think that game ended eventually 4-1, in favor of Real Madrid. So in this season's exit, I think it was even more painful for Atletico Madrid. And it was very painful for me, considering the fact that by the time Julian Alvarez took the kick for the second time, he missed it. And again, Atletico Madrid could not advance to the next stage of the UEFA Champions League. I really feel sad for Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone. Anyways, goals make the game very beautiful. And today on Diaspora Digital Media Sports Central, DDM Sports Central, I have taken my time to give you the fastest goals in the history of the UEFA Champions League. So if I were you, if you have watched it to this point and you think you may have forgotten, play rewind, so that you take note of the top 5 fastest goals of the UEFA Champions League. You never can tell. You may be watching the program someday and it will be a quiz that will help you become some cash richer. All right. So with that, we have come to the end of today's edition of the program. Feel free to let me know your own controversial moments of this season's UEFA Champions League. I gave that as a bonus into the top 5 fastest goals. Feel free to also give us your comments on every other thing that you think about this edition of the show. Send us your likes, comments, and then do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Diaspora Digital Media. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter handles at Diaspora DM, and on all other social media handles, Diaspora Digital Media. Until I come your way again with another revealing, exciting, and entertaining edition of DDM Sports Central, I remain your host with the Sparks. Do have a lovely and sporty day ahead.